What is Shinnok's amulet and what does it do? What is it all about? In this video, I want to find out all about Shinnok's amulet. What is it exactly? Because it's appeared in quite a few Mortal Kombat games, and I'm actually intrigued by it. I'm intrigued by Shinnok's amulet, and I'm intrigued by Shinnok's lore as well. This specific video is just going to be about Shinnok's amulet only. I am interested in doing a Shinnok lore video in the future because I want to know more about Shinnok as a character. If I just scratch the surface of Shinnok, he's a fallen elder god, which means that he used to be on the good side. Apparently good side. I don't know if elder gods are good or bad, but I guess they are good because they created the Mortal Kombat tournament to give places like Earthrealm a chance to win their freedom. So I guess I can class them as good. So this means Shinnok used to be good, and something happened to make him go down into the Netherrealm and become evil. So this is a character that I actually find very interesting, and I really want to explore more about this character and find out what he's really about. But that's for another video. In this video, I'm only going to discuss Shinnok's amulet, and I'm going to bring up every instance of where Shinnok's amulet was used in the Mortal Kombat games, in order that it might bring us clarity to what Shinnok's amulet is about. What is it? What's the purpose of Shinnok's amulet? And if we're lucky, we could come up with some really amazing theories, like why was it made? How did Shinnok make it? Why did he make it? Alright, I'm going to get started now. So, as far as I know, the first game it appeared in was Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. So in this game, Quan Chi tasks Sub-Zero with going into the Temple of Elements. Wait a minute, is it a Temple of Elements or is it 4 temples? As far as I remember, every time you complete a level and defeat one of the elementals, you just get teleported to the next part. Does every level of the elementals exist in one place? So you defeat Fujin the Wind God. You defeat... who's after him? You defeat the Rock God, who nobody knows his name. Well, I don't know his name. Some of you loreheads might know. You can drop it in the comments if you do. You have the Water one, whose name is apparently Sujin. And you have the Fire God, who looks like Raiden, but is fire. He uses fire power. What was his name supposed to be? I don't remember exactly. Oh, wait a minute. It's coming to me. It's coming to me. What was it? You have Raiden, who's supposed to be Raijin, Sujin, something Jin. I don't remember exactly. Anyway, it's really important to Quan Chi that Sub-Zero goes and defeats all of these and then gets his hand on the amulet. And when you defeat the 4th one, the fire one, he ascends a flight of stairs where the amulet of Shinnok was being guarded. And then Quan Chi suddenly appears and takes the amulet away. So those 4 elementals were protecting this amulet. Now Quan Chi takes this amulet and uses it to summon Shinnok, as far as I know, to bring back Shinnok. So in this way the amulet is linked to Shinnok. So Shinnok is apparently locked away somewhere. Was he locked away in the amulet? So the amulet acted as a prison for Shinnok. So the amulet can be a prison. One of the functions of the amulet is to be a prison for an elder god. It can suck. No, that's probably not the correct word to use. It can imprison an elder god. It can imprison a fallen elder god. That is the power of the amulet. We'll take off this attribute of the amulet. It's used to imprison. I don't know what else it does in Sub-Zero Mythologies. I don't remember any other function for it. But when we go to Mortal Kombat 4, I believe in MK4, Quan Chi uses it to bring back Shinnok. Okay? But then there's a secondary function which is discovered, where it's like a 2-parter function. So, in Quan Chi's ending in MK4, he wields the real amulet while he gave Shinnok a fake amulet. So when Quan Chi went to Shinnok and said, "Hey man, I did a lot of work for you, and you finally achieved what you were looking for. Can I get a payment? Can I get my prize?" And then Shinnok looks at him and says, "Yes, you have been a very good servant. You have really helped me get to this stage, so I will reward you. Your reward is that I will allow you to breathe. I will allow you to live. I will gift you with your existence." To which Quan Chi responds in utter shock and surprise. "My existence? What? My existence? That's all you're gonna give me? Are you serious? You're gonna allow me to exist in this world? That's your gift to me?" To which Shinnok then responds, "Understand, sorcerer, my life force is going in and out of all things that exist." So trying to tell Quan Chi that, "Hey, look, I'm actually doing you a favor by keeping you alive." And Quan Chi thought, what the hell? I did all this work just for this ending. Seriously? No. This is absolutely lame. This Shinnok guy sucks. And then he sticks it to Shinnok saying, "Shove your prize up your ass. I don't want any of it." And then Shinnok looks at him like, "Alright, fine. Die then. Die." So he goes to attack Quan Chi, but little did Shinnok know that Quan Chi actually had the real amulet all this time. The real one. So the one that Quan Chi gave to Shinnok was actually fake. The amulet functioned as a protection for Quan Chi. Shinnok threw his attack at Quan Chi in order to destroy him. So the power of a fallen elder god becomes null and void in front of the amulet. The wearer of the amulet cannot be hurt by a fallen elder god. So that's the next function, protection. And following that function, Quan Chi uses the amulet to destroy Shinnok. He blasts an attack at Shinnok and blows him to pieces. There's bits of Shinnok everywhere. I think that's his lung over there. Now here's a question to ask. Can the amulet be used to attack people? Or did it imprison Shinnok's attack and then released it back on himself? Is that what the amulet did? So this is something for us to think about and decide. Can the amulet be used to attack? Or does it simply just hold people's attacks so you can release it whenever you want? So if Raiden was to blast you with a thunderbolt and you had the amulet, would the amulet absorb that thunderbolt? And if I had the amulet, could I release the thunderbolt back to Raiden and attack him with it? Or does the amulet have its own attack? So, something to think about. That's 3 functions so far. Okay, now we move on to the next function, which is in Deadly Alliance. So apparently Quan Chi uses the amulet to resurrect the army of the Dragon King. How does he resurrect an army? How does he resurrect the army of the Dragon King? Was the army of the Dragon King being stored inside the amulet? Is the amulet some kind of mystical hard drive where you can just store anything you want inside the amulet? So does that mean that the amulet was used before to defeat the Dragon King's army? And I need to not say the word suck up because that sounds a bit weird. What's another word for suck? Absorb. Okay. Was this amulet used to absorb the Dragon King's army into the amulet? And then Quan Chi released this army. He found some inscriptions on the tomb of the Dragon King or whatever. Maybe those inscriptions told him that there was this Dragon King army inside the amulet, and he released them. And then all they needed was souls now, so Shang Tsung came into play and used a Soulnado to put souls into the Dragon King army. So it was like Ermac version 2.0, where all the souls are being distributed into different bodies instead of one body. I'm reading a text here from AI where it says that the amulet's power is implied to protect Quan Chi and Shang Tsung from detection by the Elder Gods while they build their alliance. So there we go, another function. I think we're on number 5. So apparently function number 5 is it can protect you from detection by the Elder Gods while you're doing whatever you want to do. But does this make sense though? Because was Raiden not an Elder God, and then how did he find out about this deadly alliance, whatever they're doing? So then he relinquished his status as Elder God and just became Raiden again, and came back to Earthrealm to gather the heroes to fight the deadly alliance. So I don't know if this AI robot got that right. Maybe someone else knows something I don't. Okay, moving on to Mortal Kombat Deception. You can't trust the AI because when you use AI to research, it comes up with all kinds of weird facts, and then you have to tell it that, hey, you actually got this wrong. It's actually like this. And then the AI will say, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Thanks for correcting me. And then you're looking at the AI like, I employed you to do a job. Okay, so now we're moving on to Mortal Kombat Deception. So, Shujinko goes on a quest to collect the Kamidogu. What do the Kamidogu do? So the Kamidogu, maybe this should be its own video, but just to scratch the surface, the Kamidogu, I don't quite remember exactly, but it could be one of two things. Either the Kamidogu were used to split the one being into separate realms. Yeah, I think that's what it is. The Kamidogu are used to split the one being into separate realms. Or the one being was split into separate realms and the Kamidogu are each holding a piece of the one being, maybe. And so they're located in different realms. And then the Amulet of Shinnok is needed to combine the Kamidogu, and somehow it brings back the one being. Okay, so this sounds like a new function of the Amulet of Shinnok. It has a relationship with the Kamidogu. So from what I remember, the Kamidogu can be merged into one powerful Kamidogu with the Amulet of Shinnok. And this part doesn't make sense to me, but apparently the one who's doing that action, merging the Kamidogu, he becomes the one being. So in a case in MK Deception, the Dragon King, if he merges all of them together, he becomes the one being, which sounds weird to me. Shouldn't it awaken the one being as he is? I don't get it. Is the one being a soul that possesses the body of the person who brings the Kamidogu together? Maybe I'm looking too deep into this. Okay, so that's another function, fusing the Kamidogu into one super Kamidogu. And then another function with the help of the Nexus is, if all the Kamidogu are placed on the altar in the Nexus, and then the final piece, the Amulet of Shinnok, is placed in the middle in its indentation, then the Kamidogu are all transported to the Elder Gods. Why they weren't holding it in the first place, I don't know. Why are these Kamidogu scattered throughout the realms, along with the Amulet of Shinnok, for humans to find it and create a big fuss? Or maybe, different beings travel to these realms and back, and somehow along the way things get lost, like Shinnok's amulet, for example. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, we have established a few functions of the Amulet of Shinnok. Okay, in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, I don't remember anything about Shinnok's amulet in that game. I think you can collect it as an item in the Conquest mode, but there's nothing else to the Amulet of Shinnok in that game, as far as I remember. Someone can correct me in the comments if you remember something. Okay, so we're gonna move on now to Mortal Kombat 9. In Mortal Kombat 9, I remember nothing to do with the Amulet of Shinnok. As far as I know, that game was to do with the Amulet of Raiden. So Raiden has his own amulet, which cracks, which indicates the realms breaking apart or whatever, or something going wrong. So he has to go and fix everything. But we'll not mention that in this video. Moving on to MKX. In MKX we do get to see Shinnok and his amulet again. So in MKX it's a bit more expansive. Okay, so the first instance of Shinnok's amulet in Mortal Kombat X is when Mileena uses it against Kotal Kahn. Kotal Kahn defeats Mileena in combat. And then she gets surrounded by Kotal Kahn and his men. And she's stuck. She doesn't know what to do. So the next thing she does is turn to the amulet. Kotal Kahn attacks Mileena with his attack, some kind of sun attack. What I think he was trying to do was transport her to another place to punish her later. Because he said to the fire something with you or whatever. I think he was trying to teleport her. But she pulled out the amulet. And if we go by its previous functions where we know that it's used to store things, was it storing the power of Kotal Kahn, where he's trying to transport Mileena? So this transportation power is possibly being stored in the amulet. But Mileena's not able to control the amulet, so it goes a bit haywire, and some of the gods around them disappear. Now, there's two questions here. Did the gods become imprisoned within the amulet, or did the amulet redirect Kotal Kahn's attack, where he was trying to transport Mileena to another place? It redirected that attack to the gods, so it was the gods who actually got transported to where Mileena was supposed to go. It's a valid question. So I think this might be further evidence that the amulet can be used to hold an attack and release it again on someone else. And because Mileena couldn't control it, the amulet burned her forearm up to the elbow and knocked her out. So you need to be a powerful being to be able to use an amulet. Someone on Raiden's level. Now various people are after the amulet, and Devora somehow gets the amulet and throws it to Quan Chi in his remaining 5 seconds of life. And he's muttering some hellish spell from the Netherrealm while trying to catch the amulet. He needs to catch the amulet. So as soon as he catches the amulet and finishes his spell, Shinnok becomes released from the amulet. So, Shinnok was being imprisoned inside the amulet, with who knows what else. You know, there's a big story potential with this amulet, because this amulet could be holding anything. It could be holding something much darker than Shinnok. It could be holding all kinds of things. You know, any story can be made with this amulet. There could be some ancient ruler inside this amulet which was very dangerous, which everyone's forgotten about, or some kind of ancient weapon, or anything. Anything could be inside this amulet. We don't know what's inside the amulet being imprisoned. Maybe the 7th Kamidogu, or even whole realms could probably be sitting imprisoned within the amulet. We don't know. So that's actually something very interesting. Right. So we've got up to this point in MKX. Now later on in the story, well, right at the end of MKX story, Shinnok uses his amulet to store the Jinsei energy. If we go by all the evidence that was presented earlier, the Jinsei energy is being sucked, withdrawn into the amulet. And then Shinnok, the one who knows how to use the amulet, he takes the amulet, puts it on his belt buckle or something, and he's able to maybe redirect the Jinsei energy into himself, turning him into Super Shinnok, Demon Overlord Shinnok. He looks like an actual proper ruler of the Netherrealm right now. So that's what he's using it for. And apparently if you lose the fight to Shinnok, he can use the amulet to either merge all the realms into a single Netherrealm, or bring about the effects of the Netherrealm into other realms. I don't know if this is the function of the amulet or it's just part of Shinnok's work. So I think this part needs a bit more exploration to see if that's the case. Okay, so I think I got everything in MKX. If there's anything I forgot, somebody could mention it in the comments. We are going to go through MKX story at some point and watch it all the way through and do a commentary on it. Next, MK11. I don't really remember much use of Shinnok's amulet in this game, but I do remember that Raiden is the one that's holding Shinnok's amulet. So, what the amulet does to Raiden is begin to corrupt him, make him turn into Dark Raiden. It's making him go into the Dark Raiden way, where he's more angry, he has less patience, less mercy. He's not being merciful to anyone anymore. His electric turns red. Now how, with the previous functions of the amulet that we've discussed already, how can we explain what's happening to Raiden? So I'm gonna bring up the point about how Shinnok stored the energy of the Jinsei and was able to use it to change himself into Super Shinnok. So what I can conclude from this is that the amulet, which is being used as a storage device, it's filled up with all kinds of negative energy. There's some dark evil forces inside the amulet. There's negative energies, people's attacks, probably whole civilizations, maybe a whole evil realm. Who knows, there's probably countless demons inside the amulet. And when Raiden is using the amulet, because of all these forces that are imprisoned inside the amulet, Raiden is getting influenced by these forces. So if those forces weren't inside the amulet before, let's say if it was filled up with good forces instead, it could be a different outcome. Maybe it would turn Shinnok into a good person. So I expect that Raiden, just like Shinnok, knows how to use the amulet. He knows the functions of the amulet, he knows what to do, how to use it properly. And somehow the energy inside the amulet, the dark, negative energy, was being radiated through Raiden. Does he really know how to use it? Because would he let this dark energy radiate through him then? It might be that every time Raiden tried to use the amulet, he's risking the use of the dark energy flowing through him. And he's weighing the calculation in his mind that, okay, I'll just use it this many times and risk this much dark energy going into me. And slowly over time, or actually pretty quickly actually, he's turning darker and darker and darker until Liu Kang knocks him out of it. So, all the previous evidences are being strengthened, reinforced by Raiden's interaction with the amulet, if I'm correct. I'm not sure if Shang Tsung uses the amulet in Aftermath for any purpose. He uses the crown that he's made for Kronika, but does he use the amulet for anything? Does he use it to erase everybody? Or maybe the whole Midway timeline is sucked up into the amulet and it's safe inside this amulet storage. I don't know. I don't remember Shang Tsung's interaction with the amulet, so this is gonna have to be a discussion down in the comments. And what else? And that's it really. This was a good deep dive into Shinnok's amulet to discover its ability, its use. What it was made for, I don't know. I can only come up with a theory that maybe when Shinnok was an elder god, when he was on the good side, he made a tool to punish bad people. Hey, check this theory out. Okay, What if Shinnok made the amulet to punish bad people, right? And he collected so many bad people inside his amulet, storing them inside his amulet. And over time, he collected so much darkness that eventually that darkness inside the amulet affected him and caused him to become the fallen elder god that he is. What if that's what happened? Come on now, after all we just discussed, this theory holds weight. So could Shinnok become good again? It's affected Raiden. We know Raiden's good, and it changed him and made him bad. It made him dark. Could we possibly get a good Shinnok again? Unfortunately, the writing team at NRS, they're not the best. And I don't think they care about all these details that we Mortal Kombat fans care about. Mortal Kombat fans like us, we're willing to dive deep into these things. And that's how we come up with great ideas. But the current team at NRS, I don't think they care that deeply about Mortal Kombat the way we do, which is a real shame. It means that as long as this keeps going on at the way it is at NRS, then all these ideas are just going to be discussed between us fans, and it's never actually going to come out into the world of Mortal Kombat. It's only going to stay as theories. Okay, so the next video I'm going to do is the lore of Shinnok. I hope you're looking forward to that, because I find Shinnok a really interesting character, and I am excited to do a lore video discussing everything about Shinnok. Shinnok is very interesting. If you made it to this point, thanks for watching. I know you're a real Mortal Kombat fan if you're this deep into a Mortal Kombat lore video. Let me know what you think, and maybe you can give me a suggestion for a lore video. I'll probably look at your comment and think, nah, I ain't making that video. But, you know, you can try. You can probably get my attention with something interesting. Okay, thanks.